You ever wonder what really separates a pretty good company from a truly great one? I'll tell you what, it's not some kind of magic, it's a system. So let's dive into this kind of hidden world of operations and quality management that, believe it or not, secretly runs just about everything around us.
Okay, so picture this. We've all been there, right? You walk into your favorite coffee shop, and one day, that cup of coffee is just perfect. The temperature's right, the taste is amazing, everything hits the mark.
But then you go back the next day and, oh, it's lukewarm, it's bitter, it's just a total disappointment. Now, this inconsistency, it's not just about coffee, of course. It happens with pretty much any product or service you can think of. And honestly, it's the number one problem that businesses are constantly trying to solve. And that brings us to what you could call the quality conundrum. I mean, how do you deliver that same excellent experience every single time? The answer isn't just, try harder. It's a whole formal discipline. And that discipline is called quality management. It's a really deliberate system that's designed to completely wipe out inconsistency. And it does that by focusing on three huge things: standardization, continuous improvement, and making processes efficient. So that perfect cup of coffee you had, yeah, that wasn't a lucky accident. It was the result of a really, really great process. So, how do you build a process that great? Well, it all starts with a huge shift in mindset. You've got to move from fixing problems after they've already happened to stopping them from ever happening in the first place. That's the whole idea behind prevention over correction. And this chart here just shows that contrast perfectly. The old way, quality control, it's completely reactive. Think of it like having a firefighter on standby, just waiting to put out fires. The modern way, quality assurance, that's proactive. That's more like being a fire marshal who makes the building so safe that fires never even get a chance to start. And let me tell you, that proactive approach saves a ton of time, money, and a whole lot of headaches down the road. Now, to really get proactive, businesses use this incredibly powerful philosophy called total quality management, or TQM for short. And it's not just one thing. Think of it as an entire toolkit for building quality right into the DNA of a company. And here you can see the core of TQM in action. It all, and I mean all, revolves around the customer. But the real genius here is how it achieves that focus, by getting everyone involved. I mean, it makes sense, right? The people who are actually doing the work, they know the process better than anyone. So empowering them to spot problems and suggest improvements isn't just some nice-to-have idea. It's literally the most effective way to build a quality system from the inside out. Now, right at the heart of TQM is a concept you might have heard of: Kaizen. It's a Japanese term that basically means continuous improvement. The key idea here, and it's a big one, is that the search for a better way to do things is never over. You're never done. Perfection is always a moving target. The way Kaizen works in the real world is through this simple but incredibly powerful loop. First, you identify a problem. Let's say the wait times at that coffee shop are way too long. Next, you analyze why it's happening. And the key here is you're not trying to figure out who to blame. You implement a change. And then, this is the most important part, you review the results to see if it actually worked. Then you start that whole cycle all over again, just making these small, constant improvements over time. Of course, you can't fix everything all at once, right? That's where amazing tools like the Pareto principle come in. You probably know it as the 80-20 rule. And what it tells us is that most of the time, a whopping 80% of your problems are caused by just 20% of the issues. This is a total game changer because it helps businesses focus their improvement efforts on the things that are going to make the biggest possible impact. But this quality mindset isn't just about fixing one process at a time. It's about engineering the entire system from the ground up to be efficient and reliable. So take inventory, for example. If you have too much stock sitting around, it's wasteful. But if you have too little, well, you can't serve your customers. So companies use these really clever strategies like just-in-time, where supplies show up exactly when they're needed, or even vendor-managed inventory, where your supplier literally monitors your stock levels for you and restocks you automatically. It's all about having exactly what you need right when you need it. And this same proactive thinking applies to planning for the future. I mean, think about it. Do you build a bigger factory before you get more customers? That's the lead strategy, and risk it just sitting there empty? Or do you wait until you're totally overwhelmed, the lag strategy, and risk losing those customers to your competitors? These are the kinds of huge strategic choices that decide if a business can grow smoothly or not. Now, these aren't just good ideas somebody came up with. They're actually globally recognized standards. ISO 9001 is kind of like the ultimate seal of approval for quality management. When a company gets certified, it's basically telling the entire world that it has a solid, consistent, and customer-focused system running the show.
Okay, so let's bring this all back together. We started with that inconsistent cup of coffee, and we've gone all the way to huge global standards like ISO 9001. But every single thing we've talked about is part of one single relentless mission, the quest for consistency.
And the payoff for that quest? It's huge. This is about way more than just cutting costs. It's about building what we call a culture of excellence. When you get this right, you end up with happier customers, you get more engaged employees, and you build a business that's truly built to last. It's this powerful cycle where literally everyone wins. And here's maybe the most crucial point of all. In a TQM culture, when something goes wrong, nobody asks, who messed up? They ask, what part of the process failed us? That simple shift from blaming individuals to solving problems with the process, that is what truly empowers people and fuels that constant improvement. And ultimately, these principles don't just apply to giant corporations. Think about your own daily routines for a second. Your morning scramble to get out the door, your workout, how you plan your week. So what's one process in your life that could be just a little bit better? Because that quest for improvement, well, it can start absolutely anywhere.